How do you actually decide how much a SaaS business is worth? Is it a multiple of revenue? Is it a multiple of profit? Do you take churn into consideration? Like what goes into valuing a SaaS business?
Yeah, it's actually a lot of factors. So it's sometimes interesting if founders drop me a message, say, here's our revenue, this is our growth. Can you tell me what multiple I can expect? That's usually not how it works. And it also varies from buyer to buyer because their interests are so different. I would say they are, on the one hand, quantitative factors. So growth is still one of the top valuation drivers. But then you also have other factors like quality of revenue. So how is your gross dollar retention, your net dollar retention? How does your rule of 40 setup look like? And how efficient is your business? Also your customer acquisition, LTV to CAC ratio, CAC payback, so the typical SaaS KPIs. But then there's also a lot of more qualitative factors. So what's your moat? How strong is your IP? Do you have any technical debt? Is it all like up to date? How fast is your market growing, the market you're in? Do you have any, for example, client concentration, which puts the acquirer at risk? So a lot of more qualitative factors that can ultimately decide what you're getting, and then more quantitative factor. And we are a serial acquirer. We run an evergreen model. So for us, financial health is very important. And you can tell us how strong your moat is, but if it's not reflected in your KPIs, then we cannot price it in necessarily. While if Microsoft buys a company, that's a multi-billion company, they don't care about your revenue growth. They would rather buy you because you have access to clients or you build like a strong IP that they want to own. So it's very different, but for us in particular, it's more about financial health and KPIs.
I know in this space that there is a lot of jargon, there's a lot of more technical terminology. You mentioned the rule of 40 there. I'm just wondering if you could kind of unpack some of that, maybe for people that are, more used to building companies than they are to buying and selling them.
Yeah, so in easy words, we want to see that you can acquire customers efficiently and profitably after all. And we want to see that you can retain those customers. So simple example, I've seen companies that grow 10% month over month, but they're also losing a lot of customers over time and sometimes quite quickly because a lot of customers are curious, trying out the product, especially now with AI SaaS tools, but they also quickly churn if it doesn't provide the value. And so customer acquisition is great. Customer retention is even more important. That's why, for example, many private equity players are focusing on vertical solutions because they tend to be more sticky and tend to have greater retention metrics. So yeah, that's what ultimately drives the valuation. So big plus is if you can do both, acquire customers and retain them and also upsell them. So increase accounts over time, meaning that famous net dollar retention of over 100%. So ultimately the revenue acquired this month, for example, becomes more of the same customer group over time. So your cohorts are growing and you could basically stop customer acquisition and still continue to grow. Yeah, and then with the rule of 40, also became more popular recently is growth rate and profit margin combined. So if you're growing 20% year over year and you have a 20% EBITDA margin, that would equal to an exact rule of 40 setup. And it's actually an efficiency metric and a financial health metric. So ideally, you have a great balance. So your company grows and it's profitable. It's especially important for smaller SaaS companies because buyers want to see cash flows.
Hey, it's Ryan here. If you liked that video, please click the like and subscribe button somewhere down there and check out the full interview right over here. Go on, click it. You know you want to.